Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Priscilla Obasi. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channel 276. Now the news in detail. President Bola Tinubu has reiterated the determination of his administration to continue strengthening the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) in its fight against illicit drugs. The president, who was represented by the National Security Officer, Madam Nuhu Ribadu, stated this, known at the commissioning of new operational vehicles for the agency in Abuja. Here is Kikelobo Kiri's report.
At the NDLEA headquarters in Abuja, 48 brand new operational vehicles, 38 SUVs and 10 sedans were handed over to zonal, state and strategic commands across the country. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was represented by the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, says the vehicle marks another step in government's resolve to boost the agency's capacity and keep drug cartel on the run.
These vehicles will serve as critical enablers, facilitating rapid deployment, improving logistics, enhancing command and control, and ensuring timely response to hotspots.
NDLEA Chairman Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, says the agency has recorded major breakthrough in the past 2 years, including the arrest of over 40,000 drug offenders, seizures of more than 5.5 million kilograms of illicit substance, destruction of over 700 acres of cannabis farm, and conviction of nearly 8,700 traffickers.
The procurement of these vehicles was made possible by the fiscal backing of this administration, which continues to demonstrate strong resolve in addressing the root causes of insecurity and social dislocation.
Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, also lauded Tinubu's support, stressing the strong link between drug trafficking and violent crimes. He praised Marwa's leadership and moral boost given to NDLEA personnel.
So I'm happy about what you are doing and the morale of the staff you are boosting. It is very important. If there is no morale booster, you can't get anything done.
The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, described the new vehicles as a boost to NDLEA's operational capability, while the Director General of Bureau of Public Procurement, Dr. Adebowale Adedokun, commended the agency for adhering to due process in procurement.
It is my firm belief that this investment will translate to greater deterrence to those who seek to profit from this destructive trade.
The vehicles you see today were thoroughly gone through due process. In fact, I'm going to say NDLEA for me is an example for other agencies of government.
The event ended with decoration of 15 newly promoted commanders to the rank of Assistant Commander General of Narcotics. Kikelobo Kiri, Global Television News.
The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to making Barrow River Port in Niger State fully operational by transforming it into a vibrant island gateway for trade and economic growth. Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adeboyega Oyetola, gave the assurance at the House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee session on the challenges and prospects of port. Anita Patrick reports that funding, digging, and critical roads and rail linkage remains top priorities for the project revival.
Commissioned in 2019 but plagued by operational setbacks, the Barrow Port has struggled to serve its intended purpose largely due to inadequate supporting infrastructure and navigability challenges along the River Niger. Minister Oyetola says the government is now rolling out measures to address these gaps, including capital dredging, of over 2,000 kilometers of inland waterways, developing road and rail connections, and attracting credible private sector investors through concessions.
Part of what we try to do is to ensure the need to do a lot of dredging. Unfortunately, we are hampered by the scarcity of funds. NIWA was supposed to dredge about 2,000 kilometers of dredging, but in terms of fund requirements, that would run to billions of naira.
Also speaking, the Managing Director of the National Inland Waterways Authority, Bola Oyebaniji, and the Minister of Transportation, Saidu Alkali, both acknowledged funding as a major hurdle, but expressed optimism that with legislative support, Barrow Port could soon boost Nigeria's trade competitiveness under the African Continental Free Trade Area.
Our ongoing efforts to enhance Barrow Port operations. As part of the authorities' efforts to improve the navigability of the lower and upper River Niger, which serve as the main waterways access to Barrow Port, the authority has executed the underlisted projects.
The House Committee says it will undertake an on-the-spot assessment of the port this Saturday as part of efforts to fast-track its full operationalization.
When they are thinking cap to see how they can not be taken out of the project. So I think we also need to broaden our horizon when we are approaching these things. If we limit our thinking to just the budgetary provisions, most of these projects will never get done. They will never see the light of the day.
Barrow Port, first established in 1908, is strategically positioned to connect agricultural value chains and ease pressure on the nation's highway, a dream the federal government says is.
The federal government has officially granted Air Tanzania Company Limited a foreign carrier operations permit, clearing the way for the airline to commence direct flights between Tanzania and Nigeria. The presentation took place at the Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development headquarters in Abuja. The Aviation Ministry stated that the initiative is aimed at improving operational efficiency, safety, and strengthening collaborations between Nigeria and Tanzania in the aviation sector. The National Orientation Agency has launched a 2-week nationwide enlightenment campaign aimed at deepening citizens' understanding of government policies, strengthening national values, enhancing security awareness, and promoting the Nigeria identity. Director General of the agency, Lanre Sauninu, stated and noted that the initiative is expected to reach all 36 states, the Federal Capital Territory, and the 774 local government area of the states. Anyeche Patrick has more. Benue State government has intensified security in parts of Ukum local government area by deploying security personnel to 3 communities to enhance security measures. The communities are Chito, Afia, and Mudi. The move comes after urgent appeals from the residents and local authorities to the federal government and state government for intervention, following years of violent attacks by armed men and suspected to be headsmen. Benue State correspondent Felicity Indere brings us more.
Ukum local government and other areas of Benue State, Nigerians' food baskets have accounted for high percentage of yam production and other food supplies until armed herders' invasion and banditry became the order of the day, leaving the industrious people independent and helpless. Today, the scars of conflict remain fresh, with at least 15 settlements in Ukum local government counting to bear the brunt of sustained attacks. With the uncertainty, the joint military operations of the Operation Wildstroke has intensified operations in the Axis, resulting in the recent rescuing of 11 kidnapped victims. A move appreciated by the people, including the council chairman, Jonathan Modi, who led the military team on its strategic assessment tour in the area to public infrastructures destroyed as a result of attacks.
As you can see, yesterday we deployed in Afia, which happens to be the current senator's village. The people have been crying, and even if you go to that place, you will see lots of people there, but they live in fear. they live in fear. People are scared, and they are being attacked on market days.
Residents in the area have promised greater cooperation with the security personnel to enable them to succeed, express strong desire to live normal lives again, where their safety is assured and essential services restored.
Without security, whatever project you have done will be useless. Even if you build schools, build roads, build hospitals, provide water, electricity, and there's no security, there will nobody to benefit from those amenities. And so, with the presence of security at Afia today, we believe that all our markets that are no longer functioning will come back to life.
The development of security operatives is part of renewed effort to eliminate criminal elements to strengthen peace and security of most communities in Sankara Aziz of the state affected by insecurity. In the meantime, stakeholders have called for a coordinated national and state effort to restore stability, rebuild lives shattered by years of violence, and help affected communities regain dignity. In Makudi, Felicity Ndere reporting for Global TV News.
Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal has pledged the government's continued support for initiatives that promote women's participation in the digital economy. He made this known while declaring open a 4-day digital skills training for 100 women in Gusau, organized by the Nigerian Communications Commission. Zara Nasir reports.
Digital literacy is transforming lives around the world, and Nigerian women are being encouraged to take advantage of it to enhance their businesses, education, and access to services. Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal, who was represented by his deputy, Mani Mumini, urged women to break barriers and equip themselves with digital skills to self-reliance. He pledged the state commitment to continue to support initiatives that align with President Bola Tinubu's vision to grow Nigeria's digital economy.
I want that the partnership will help immensely in bringing the digital divide and opening opportunities for our women.
The Executive Vice Chairman of the Nigerian Communication Commission, Dr. Aminu Maidari, represented by the head of the Kano Zonal Office, Abubakar Gurfi, and the Zamfara Information Technology and Development Agency, Habib Gatam, reaffirmed the state's commitment to empowering women through ICT. They noted that the training aims to equip women with relevant digital skills to boost self-reliance, improve businesses, and enhance access to online opportunities.
Skills training for women is one of the Nigeria's Communications Commission NCC's key initiatives designed to equip women like you with knowledge, confidence, and tools they needed to grow, compete, and succeed.
Training you will undergo today is to ensure that you become self-sufficient. You do not have to rely on government, and to ensure that you gain visibility within the social media space in whatever business that you do.
Earlier, the head of the Nigerian Communications Commission, Digital Skills Department, Hawa Wakil, revealed that less than 20% of women in Nigeria currently subscribe to digital services, urging participants to take advantage of the fourth industrial revolution.
Not just operating in the cyberspace, you also have to know how to protect yourself. There are hawks and hackers there.
At the end of the training, each participant will receive a smartphone and a 100,000 naira cash allowance from the state government to support their digital journey. Zahra Nasr, reporting for Global TV News.
The Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, has advised state governments to strengthen year-round community engagement to curb the spread of Lassa fever. In its latest situation report for epidemiological week 31, the agency confirmed 9 new cases in Ondo, Edo and Taraba states, up from 3 reported the previous week. This, according to the NCDC, brings the total confirmed cases to 836 across 21 states and 105 local government areas, with an 18.7% case fatality rate, higher than 17.3% recorded in the same period in 2024. You are watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. When News Cycle returns, Customs Federal Inland Revenue Service synergized to fast-track single-window projects. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is News Cycle on Global Television. Now we go to the business news. The Federal Inland Revenue Service and the Nigerian Customs Service have stepped up collaboration on the National Single Window Project, a landmark trade facilitation initiative expected to transform Nigeria's import and export processes, improve revenue collections, and enhance the country's competitiveness in global trade. At a meeting held in Abuja, top officials from both agencies reviewed ongoing preparations for the project's implementation and agreed on practical steps to accelerate systems integration ahead of its planned takeoff in the first quarter of 2026. The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to ensuring a steady gas supply from Nigeria to Togo, Benin Republic, and Ghana in a bid to tackle energy poverty and promote economic prosperity in the West African sub-region. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gas, Ekperigbe Ekbo, said this in Abuja during a meeting with the outgoing and incoming managing directors of the West African Gas Pipeline Company. Operations at all mining lease OML 18 in Rivers State have ground to a halt following industrial action by Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria. In a strike directive issued by the Association of Port Harcourt, Zonal Assistant General Secretary Sere Nkwibe stated that members are ordered to withdraw their services immediately until their demands are met. And now we go to the foreign scene. Following a video conference between United States President Donald Trump and the leaders of Germany, Finland, France, and United Kingdom, Italy, Poland, and the European Union, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says his country must be included in peace talks regarding the Russian-Ukraine war. The discussion focused on the war before Trump's meeting with his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin, scheduled to hold in Alaska on Friday. Ukraine hopes the meeting will serve as a European counterweight to the summit in Alaska, to which Kyiv is not invited. Egypt says it is stepping up efforts with Qatar and the United States to revive a U.S.-backed ceasefire proposal aimed at ending the fighting in Gaza. At a press briefing in Cairo, Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdelatty confirmed talks are ongoing with both Hamas and Israel. Correspondent Mukhtar Qasim reports.
Egypt is mounting a fresh diplomatic push to secure a 60-day truce in Gaza. The proposal would see the release of hostages and Palestinian detainees, as well as unimpeded delivery of humanitarian aid. Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdelatty told reporters that the priority is to halt the fighting immediately and restore humanitarian access, returning to the plan already on the table.
Now, and we are talking with the Hamas, with the Israelis, and we're still pushing for a deal, based on Witkoff proposal in order to move forward, and of course we are categorically opposing any kind of intention of expansion of military intervention in Gaza.
A Hamas delegation led by senior official Khalil Al-Hayya is in Cairo for high-level talks. Mediators hope to bridge the gaps that have stalled previous negotiations, even as Israel signals preparations for an offensive into Gaza City. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is now prioritizing the return of all remaining hostages in a single deal, a move that has raised both optimism and concern. With diplomatic urgency mounting and a limited window before new military action, Cairo's effort could prove decisive. But as humanitarian needs grow and battlefield tensions rise, the path to a ceasefire remains narrow and uncertainty. Mukhtar Qasim, reporting for Global Television News.
Lebanon's president has told a senior Iranian official that Beirut rejects any interference in its internal affairs and has criticized Tehran's statements on the plans to disarm Hezbollah as unconstructive. Iran's Supreme National Security Council chief Ali Larijani's visit to Beirut after the Lebanese government ordered the army to devise plans by the end of 2025 to disarm the Iran-aligned Lebanese armed group. Iran expressed opposition to the plan to disarm Hezbollah, which before a war with Israel last year was believed to be better armed than the Lebanese military. And I will go to sport, where Sudan coach Kwesi Appiah has admitted that he is not expecting his team to beat Nigeria 4-0 during both sides' 2024 African Nations Championship CHAN clash. Appiah watched as Sudan trashed the Super Eagles Team B to send Nigeria out of the competition. An own goal from Leonard Ngege and goals from Waliddin Kedir and Edhel Raouf gave Appiah the victory against Eric Chell's side. Still on sport, the Nigerian Football Federation has thrown its weight behind the maiden edition of the Sam Okwaraji Under-17 Annual All-Secondary School Soccer Championship, set to kick off on November 8, 2025. Technical Director at the Nigerian Football Federation, Augustine Ugwavian, said this while addressing journalists in Abuja. Sports correspondent Samuel Odi has details.
The Technical Director of Nigerian Football Federation, Augustine Iguavo, described the competition as a vital platform to discover and nurture grassroots football talent while also keeping alive the memory of one of Nigeria's most iconic sports heroes.
On behalf of my colleagues who are far away from here, because I spoke with a couple of them this month before coming, we endorse this and we approached it with all our heart and make sure we're also going to be in the venues. If we can make that possible so that we can, pick talents, harness and develop them to become like Okwaraji was in the past.
The chairman of the organizing committee, Osita Izunaso, says the chairman of the organizing committee, Osita Izunaso, says the championship will bring together promising young players from 36 states and the FCT, with matches holding at designated centers nationwide before a grand finale at a venue to be announced.
You will recall that exactly about this time, 36 years ago, we lost an icon, a rare gem, a patriot, a believer in Nigerian project, while playing for our dear country during a World Cup qualifier against Angola. It was indeed a dark day for our country and the continent. At this point, it is my pleasure to request us to stand and also observe a 1-minute silence in his honor.
Let us stand, please. 1 minute silence to read Samuel.
We gather to officially announce the commencement of Sam Okwaraji Under-16 Championship.
The tournament will also feature mentorship sections, career development workshop, and also honor Sam Okwaraji, who tragically died during a 1990 FIFA World Cup qualifier against Angola in Lagos on August 12, 1989. Samuel Odi reporting for Global Television News.
And that is it on Global TV News Cycle. A quick reminder, the Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using the handle @Global TV NG. I am Priscilla Obasi. Thank you very much for watching. Good evening.